How to Think Like Thomas Shelby from Peaky Blinders Part 2. Now, the story and character of Thomas Shelby is by far one of the greatest of all time, and he's a character that I definitely view up there as being one of my favourites. I mean, the journey of how a backstreet bookmaker in Birmingham is able to raise himself and his people into becoming one of the most powerful families in the country is definitely something that is legendary, and to which also has many different lessons and teachings that you can learn from in order to increase the amount of power you have in your life. Now, even though I have covered Thomas twice before previously, I feel as if they were more breakdowns of strategies to be used in contextual and very specific situations, and not really an adoption of the true mindset of Thomas Shelby. Now, even though Thomas is far from perfect, and he definitely has a lot of fundamental flaws in his character, which I may break down and cover in the future, the one thing that you can't take away from him is his absolute astronomical levels of strategic initiative, and how he uses that strategic initiative of his to continuously outmaneuver opponent after opponent and rise to the top of the game of power. Which is why in this video, what I'm going to be breaking down are the key fundamental strategies, principles and mindset that Thomas uses that not only grants him that tremendous level of strategic initiative, but also how he is able to use and maintain that strategic initiative throughout his journey of becoming the most powerful gangster in Peaky Blinders, and exactly what you can use to increase the amount of power you have in your life and in your world of business. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn how to think like Thomas Shelby. Spoiler alert through seasons 1 to 5. Now, right at the beginning of the Peaky Blinders story, it starts off with the characters of Thomas, Arthur and John being spat and thrown right back into society after serving in World War I. But even though we initially get the impression that Arthur is the leader of the Peaky Blinders, based on him being the eldest, it doesn't take us too long to work out who the true leader of the gang really is.
You think we can take on the Chinese and Billy Kimber? Billy's got a bloody army!
I think, Arthur. That's what I do. I think. So that you don't have to.
Now, given the fact that Thomas is the middle brother, it does seem quite unconventional for him to be the leader of the Shelby family. But what we come to realise is that the reason for this is because of Thomas's very strong level of strategic initiative, and what grants him that very strong ability of being able to think strategically comes down to him using the fourth strategy of the 50th law, which is to use calculated momentum. The hustler's flow. Now, what the hustler's flow is all about is understanding that most things in your life are not in your control. The world is full of chaos and uncontrollable events, and it tends to move and bend at its own pace rather than tailoring and revolving itself around you. Your strength and resources are only ever so limited, and there's no way, no matter how strong you are, that you can control the permanent state of chaos that the world exists in. But even with knowing this, what the majority of people try to do is try to aggressively take control of this chaos with their bare hands, just like a child trying to grab hold of the powerful tide of the sea. An impossible task that will leave you with nothing more but feelings of exhaustion and failure. So instead of trying to grab hold of the tide and trying to prevent the chaotic events from happening in the world, what a much wiser and more strategic approach about going things is to channel the chaos of events into the direction you want to go. Instead of trying to grab hold of the tide, you direct the flow of the tide and chaos into your direction and favour by taking advantage of it. And by using this very powerful strategy towards situations, this is what makes Thomas that such masterful strategic strategist on a consistent basis, and exactly what you can do so as well. I mean, we first witnessed the use of this strategy just within the first episode of where it turns out the gang's plan for a robbery goes absolutely tits up.
I had a bar in London for some motorcycles. I asked my men to steal me 4 bikes with petrol engines. I'm guessing my men were drunk. They picked up the wrong fucking crate.
Holy sweet baby of Mary.
Inside, we found 25 Lewis machine guns, 10,000 rounds of ammunition, 50 semi-automatic rifles, 200 pistols with shells.
Jesus, Tommy.
Now, of course, this whole event wasn't Tommy's intention, and these chain of events caused the government to launch a citywide manhunt for the weapons and for the culprits involved, bringing a shit ton of heat down onto the Shelby's criminal enterprise. But unlike everyone else around him, who is anxious of the chaos and wants him to get rid of the guns, Thomas, however, takes advantage of the opportunity that the chaotic event had brought him.
I have an alternative strategy.
Have you lost your fucking mind? Have you not seen the streets? They've sent a fucking army to find these things.
That's right. They've shown their hand. If they want them back this bad, they'll have to pay. That's the way of the world. Fortune drops something valuable into your lap, you don't just dump it on the back of the cut.
All you wanted was to add a column while planning your next sprint. Maybe it's time to move to Monday Dev. Here are 5 Monday Dev features to plan, track, and ship software fast. Manage your sprints on flexible Kanban and Scrum boards. Fully customizable, no need to call your admin.
Hello?
Performance dashboards, roadmap views, and capacity planning all included. Full visibility, zero micromanaging. Use the hierarchy views to link multiple boards and view different teams, all from the same place. No additional costs, no add-ons needed.
Wow!
No more boring daily stand-ups. Shake things up with our shuffle mode and get AI-powered suggestions for each team member. Nothing says fun like unpredictable public speaking. Monday Dev's GitHub integration uses powerful automations to give you full visibility into day-to-day progress, while letting.
This is exactly what I mean by channeling the unpredictable chaos of the world into your favor. The answer is not to control the chaos, but to let go of this need for control and move with the flow of chaos that presents itself to you, and analyze and exploit the opportunities it brings. You no longer see change and chaotic moments in life as something to fear, but rather as a source of excitement and opportunity. We see how that, even though this wasn't part of Tommy's plan, Thomas still exploits the opportunity that the event brought him. And once he decides on this strategy, he strategically uses the weapons as leverage and bargaining chips against Major Campbell to fuel his plans and his goals of business expansion.
You will turn a blind eye to all of my gambling operations. Also, I am planning an expansion onto the racetracks.
And what do I get in return?
I have what you're looking for. 25 Lewis machine guns, 50 carbines, 10,000 rounds of ammunition. When I've achieved what I've set out to achieve, I will let you know where to find the guns. You'll be a hero. You'll probably get a medal. I'm a fair man. It's a fair offer. Do we have a deal?
You see what I mean? But what makes the situation quite ironic is that Thomas uses this exact same strategy against Major Campbell again prior to the lead up of the meeting. After Major Campbell raids a local community and discredits the Shelby name around the area, the Shelbys are on the back foot. But instead of Thomas just simply succumbing to the chaos caused by Major Campbell, he instead uses the Major's own actions against him.
You don't parley when you're on the back foot. We'll strike a blow back first.
By organising the burning of the King's photograph and occupying the moral high ground, Thomas is then able to strike a blow back against the Major, even in the playing field between them, and once again spotting an opportunity amidst all the chaos that the circumstances brought him.
Write all this down. We now want to get attacked in our own homes. These new coppers over from Belfast, breaking into our homes and interfering with our women. We don't think our king would want to see that happening. So we are lighting fires to raise the alarm.
I'm an ordinary man. I won gallantry medals at the Somme. I want you to write in your paper what's going on here. Go on, go.
Are you starting to see what I mean? And this is the mindset of Thomas Shelby that I want you to help download and install into your mind. Instead of being that person that exhausts themselves trying to control everything, what you want to aim for is to be just like Thomas. A person who lets go of the complete desire for control and moves with the chaos that life presents him with. It's about getting yourself comfortable with the chaos and uncertainty in life and giving up the desire to control in such a direct, rigid manner. We can see how Thomas outmaneuvers around obstacles time and time again through the fluidity of his thoughts and inventiveness. Now, this doesn't mean that you succumb to the drift of life and don't bother planning anything. What it means is that you channel the flow of events, letting the chaos add to the force of your already predetermined actions and goals, giving you unstoppable momentum. Plans fuck up all the time, and nothing in life will ever go 100% your way. That's why it's so important for you to become a fluid and flexible strategist, so that you're not paralyzed by fear when the inevitable chaos strikes, just like Thomas.
You were mostly in the war, so you know the battle plans always change and get fucked up. Well, here it is. Things have changed. We fight them here, today, alone. Arthur, it's good boat. You take the flanks, just like at San Marie. Sure. Curly, if any Shelby man dies here today, you bury us side by side. That pub there is called the Garrison. Well, now it really is one. And it belongs to us, right? Right!
Now, there are four main parts that make up the hustler's flow mindset. And the first main principle that Tommy uses is the concept of mental flow. Now, what mental flow is all about is, rather than thinking of events as individuals and separate entities, a master of the hustler's flow thinks in terms of connections. Connections of what can link separate events together that can work in your favour. Now, what Thomas understands that makes his ways of thinking stand out from everyone else is that what often more than not seems like chaos to us is merely a series of events that are new and hard to figure out. And by absorbing more of these chaotic moments with an open spirit, you can glimpse a pattern, a reason why they are occurring, and how you can exploit them. An example of where we can see Thomas demonstrate this mental flow is in season 4, when Arthur nearly gets assassinated by Luca Changretta.
I dare you to let me build you a completely free e-commerce store preloaded with 20
Arthur's been injured, but he's all right, Paul. We need to make them believe that he's dead. To everyone but you, me, and Linda. Arthur Shelby is dead.
Now, even though Arthur doesn't die from the situation, what Thomas does is take advantage of this chaotic situation and, like usual, spots the opportunities that he can use from it.
My brother is dead. You hear me? My brother is dead!
By being inventful of coming up with the idea of faking Arthur's death, it opened up the doors for Thomas to take up many different potential avenues of
EVE Online is a vast universe, alive with the unrelenting activity and combined history of its players, pursuing lives of adventure, warfare, and prosperity.
Movement saves lives, but might not do as much as we think in a close-range gunfight. In this video, we're going to look at the relationship between movement speed and accuracy in the context of offense and defense. Here's a too long didn't watch summary if you don't want to get into the stack of numbers near the latter half of the video. If you're moving at a walk-in speed where you can guarantee rounds on target, you aren't helping yourself defensively. This is because it's intuitive and easy to track a target at close range, even at higher speeds. If you pick it up to a tactical speed walk-in, you're still not helping yourself defensively, but you're starting to make it harder to be effective offensively. If you start running quickly, now your offensive ability is seriously in question, but you start gaining a few skill points in the defense attribute. This is what those speeds look like offensively. This is mostly intuitive shooting at higher movement speed, because you will only get a tiny glimpse of your sights as they bounce in and out of your focus on the target. Now, it appears on body cams that most people want to get their feet moving when there are rounds coming at them. Is this as a result of academies teaching to get off the X though, and they're training to take little side steps during the draw while shooting balls? Probably not. It's probably because it's self-evidently unnatural for most persons to stand still while getting attacked. So let's get into how we broke this question down. First, we all know now from the previous action-reaction videos that if you're coming from the holster to an already presented firearm, you are likely dead. Also keep in mind that we are deleting the assessment phase, which is at least 0.20 seconds, and jumping right into the gunfight. To quickly cover off the efficacy of this life-saving sidestep, I decided to get shot in my right nipple and left hand multiple times with an airsoft gun, because the math said that was exactly 269,992 times cheaper per round than Sim or UTM sponsored me. Same as the last videos, I will be reacting to the other shooter raising his gun and trying to get 2 rounds on target. In these first few runs, I didn't bother returning the pain because I wasn't even able to get my gun up before getting hit twice. This is off script, but I noted after the first couple reps that it took a shocking amount of brain bandwidth to focus on getting a solid grip on the firearm and being shot in the exact same spot on my nipple and support hand by an airsoft BB, which obviously doesn't even physically incapacitate like a real round. Of course, adrenaline will have a say in this, but it should be noted that even if I wanted to return a round, based on these impacts, I'd be doing it with one hand or with a bullet through my nipple and everything that lives behind it. So, the sidestep didn't go well, but maybe we just need more sidesteps. So we queued up some walking at the speed that most people refer to as only move as fast as you can get your hits. And I threw on an extra layer because I grossly overestimated how manly I was. You can see in the majority of these reps that both shooters are getting effective hits. Of course, the reaction side of the equation is always a couple bullets behind, but this is besides the point. Next, we sped up to a tactical stroll, where I am still able to guarantee my hits during movement, but obviously the bad guy is still landing rounds at will on my body, despite one miss, which we believe is more so shooter error than related to the movement causing the miss. Lastly, we took a run at it, and both got the same hits on target. This is running at the maximum speed that you can comfortably and simultaneously contort your upper body to 90 degrees without falling over or tweaking your back. We then took the same experiment to the further extent of the old adage of the 3 to 7 yard gunfight. At this range, there is a bit more shooting skill that comes into the equation. Also keep in mind that airsoft feet per second is a minimum of 3 times slower than real bullets, which in basic theory means there's 3 times more leading or reverse leading of the target. On the other hand, it is also easier mentally to land a double tap on target with the lack of recoil, which means the airsoft oddities might cancel each other out, but we'll sort that out later in the video with live rounds. To both our shock, we were both still landing rounds at this speed repeatedly, which meant I wasn't running fast enough to start having a defensive benefit, even at the absolute limit to the speed that I could return rounds effectively without missing. For the pain and the giggles, we decided to do a build drill on each other while moving, and we believe this is where the rounds ended up based on the little marks in our jackets and the little bee stings in the various parts of our body. In both runs, we got all 6 rounds on target while ourselves and the respective targets were moving. This again means that the movement didn't actually help us, but to tell a shooter to stand and deliver is a huge ask. Mental.
Larry, check this out. With On Deck, we could get a small business loan fast and start hiring more help right away. Or loan cannon!
Mentally, at least. Then we tested if I could get behind a nearby piece of cover quickly enough when the gun was presented to avoid being struck by rounds. In all 3 reps, I got hit multiple times, but was able to return my 2 rounds in the first 2 reps. Maybe if I would have dived behind the cover, I would have survived, but it was apparent that I needed to be in cover to begin with in this situation. The only reason that he didn't get all 6 rounds on me in the first rep was because he was nice and didn't want to track the rounds up into my face. Then we moved on to live fire accuracy at 3 different movement speeds: walking, speed walking, and running. For reference, we were both average masterclass shooters, but I think we were both surprised that rounds were staying on target while running. It was considered, however, that the results may be different for other shooters, so I asked for help from the online community to compile some data and get some averages. There were 26 different shooters from around the world that submitted videos per these instructions, filming 6 cold runs with no reshoots that consisted of 9 rounds at 3 meters and 9 rounds at 7 meters. Each rep was 3 rounds moving laterally at a walking, then speed walking, and then running speed, which was then repeated at 7 meters for a total of 6 reps, 3 at each distance. The target was to be a USPSA silhouette, and the shooter was to fire 3 rounds at a fast pace while moving and trying to get hits on target. I sent 3 video demonstrations so people could keep it as similar as possible. I then divided the shooters into their known USPSA, IPSIC/IDPA classification, and if they didn't have a classification for any reason, I tried my best to place them into a classification based on their observable hard skills in their other videos. Now, before I get into my interpretation of the data, it's important to note that this isn't an Oxford research study and shooters were moving and shooting at different speeds. But the totality of the experiment, I think, still shows a reliable trend. We did have one predominantly untrained shooter partake in the experiment to give a good baseline, but their data was extracted from some points to not skew the overall data. Throughout all of the shooters, however, there was a total of 468 rounds fired, and of those, 437 of them struck the target, which equates to a 93% hit rate. Despite most shooters getting the hits on target, it's very hard to guarantee the hits at the quicker speeds, which isn't a good feeling, nor is it something I felt I could repeat with the same results over and over again. That 93%, however, sounds pretty good, but we need to look deeper into the data because of the 18 rounds fired, there was really only 6 of those rounds that were difficult to deliver accurately for most shooters, and 3 of those 6 rounds were taken at 3 meters. There was a total of 31 misses, and 20 of those misses occurred.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back. So, today we're going to be talking about area ambush. Alright? I'm going to make this as quickly as I can. I'm going to go over some things to consider and how to get this ambush set up to be as effective as you possibly can for your needs. So, let's get into it. Alright, so what we got here is a quick little layout of the southern outline ambush. So this is going to be the first ambush that your enemy enters for this area ambush. So in this scenario, they're coming from the south and they're going north. Okay, so what we got here is a squad on the hill, and they are using this terrain feature of where it says lateral limits. Right there where it ends is the right lateral limit. And then off to the left with the left arrow, there's that little hill that goes from green to a brown patch of dirt as a left lateral limit. And what we got here is a nice big about 300 yard kill zone. So let's go check it out on the Google Earth. Okay, so here we are looking at the kill zone from the hilltop where the squad is going to be. What we're going to do here is measure it really quickly. We're going to measure this really quickly so that way we can see just how big this kill zone is. And it is a pretty good sized one. Alright, so there we go. We got it about with the curve. There we go. So it is about a 361 yard kill zone. Not a bad size, considering that it is also a convoy on this highway that we are targeting. So this right here, so from this point to this point, that's probably about 1.5 minutes of travel right there. So it'll fit within it'll be just within or just outside that mad minute window. So that is definitely a good size with the moving vehicles that we are considering. So let's go look at it from the enemy's perspective. Okay, so here's that patch of dirt where our left lateral limit is going to be. And if you look up, that is where our ambush is going to take place. Our ambush site is going to be for our squad. So you can see these vehicles, how tall this hill is. So looking from here, it looks from here on Google Earth, it looks as if it's going to be a good spot. So as the vehicles are driving, and then they get to about here, is when they'll actually where us would be exposed to them, but that's even if they are able to see us. Let's go over here. Okay. Now something to keep in mind is we said about here is where they would actually be able to see us, and then right around here is where our lateral limit is. So by the time they even could see us, they're already leaving the kill zone. So from here, it looks good. We have good line of sight. We can see everything that we want to see. However, this is just a map recon. So once we actually get on the hill, you do the leader's recon, we see what is different or what wasn't what we thought it was, and then hopefully you have your contingency plans made and then you execute. So keep that in mind. Is like right here, everything looks good, it looks the way I want it to be, but have a contingency of if it's not exactly the way I thought it was going to look, have the contingency ready to execute and then do it. Okay. So now we're going to go to the central ambush. Alright, looking at this little diagram that I made, we're going to take a quick look at how we have it set up. So right here in the center on this little hill, we got one squad. There will be the central ambush. These arrows to our left and right, those are our lateral limits. Okay. So I'm going to be using the around the center-ish of the overpass as my right lateral limit. And then there's a curve over here on the left where from here it looks from the squad's view, it looks like that's about where I'll start seeing them. So that'll be my left lateral limit. Alright, so here we got the Google Earth view. Alright, so here is our little hill overlooking this overpass bridge, and then over here on this little I5 marking is where my left outer limit is going to be. So we're going to zoom in to where we can see as much as possible from the squad's point of view. All right, so from here, it fires from going towards them and then causing fratricide. All right, here we are in the northern.
Code. Cases where officers
Why are you looking at me, son? You stop staring.
Nigga, you act like you
Look, you're not actually going to get anything done by watching another YouTube video. In fact, you're literally only procrastinating more. What you need is something else.
Hello. Can you step out here and talk to me? Any weapons in the car? No.
Okay, who is he?
He's my boyfriend.
That's your boyfriend. Okay.
My keys broke off.
Okay.
Oh, so my keys in my ignition. I literally put up and I can't get it out.
Okay, where were you coming from tonight? What do you do for work?
What do you do for work? Oh, sober.
Okay. And where are you guys trying to go to now? Where's home?
Like 10 minutes away. Okay. But my keys broke off and I literally can't get it to do shit else. Besides this.
And just sit here?
No, like, but my windshield.
It's okay, just hold on, we're just talking right now, so just leave it right now.
I just wanted you to see. Like, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, go ahead and close that door.
Okay. No, my windshield was just going, my key broke off. I'm trying to, like, look for my spare key. I don't know how to get it out.
So, what's going on tonight between you and him?
He's fighting with me for honestly no reason. I'm just trying to take him home too. I did have 2 beers at work, like I promise you, I am sober.
Was there something physical going on between you two? No, none physical. None physical or anything. Nothing physical? No.
I've been at work all day.
Okay. So
I did have 2 beers at work. That was fucking 2 hours ago, or 3.
I mean, I can tell you've been drinking and everything. Yeah. No. Has she been drinking? No. She hasn't been? No, sir.
And then you guys were arguing. What were you arguing about?
Arguing over my keys.
No, because they broke. Did they break here in this?
Yes.
So how'd they break?
I really wish I knew. Like, that's why I'm fighting with him. Because, like, I don't understand why the the keys broke off. Like, I told him, like, get the out of my car. Like,
well, what were you arguing about? Relationship things. I'm not trying to, put our business all out there, but yeah.
Now, when you say fighting, are you talking physically fighting or verbally fighting?
Verbally.
Okay.
I know, it's like, we're like, listen, I'll move the fuck over right here, and then my keys broke off.
He's checking me. I said he's checking me, the van, yep. Yeah, the van.
So, why did someone call in and say that you two were physically fighting?
Honestly, I mean, that could be the gas station. We have not been in there. They could have just saw something. I'm not sure.
How long have you guys been together?
8 months.
Do you guys live together?
No. The physical thing would be like me, like literally looking for my keys.
Like, he's, I think, hating you. Mm-hmm. The guy's knocking on the window. What do you need, man?
I'm sorry. I was talking to my girlfriend. Oh, okay. Yep, just stay there in the car.
Okay, how long have you got this?
Not very long.
I'm gonna cross this out.
My tires are probably still on a Honda.
Okay.
But it's my car. I have everything in the ignition, like in my box. Title and everything.
Okay.
She's saying that they were arguing because her keys broke.
Keys?
Yeah, her keys in the ignition broke off. She said that they were never physically fighting. Admitted to drinking a couple beers at work. She promises me that she's not drunk. But I don't know if you want to try to run a Kirsten test or what you want to do, but...
And you drove here? How long have you been here?
Oh, like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Like 5 minutes.
In just the last 7 days, 8,368 men have clicked the link on one of our ads that you've probably seen on the...
Okay. How much have you had to drink?
2 beers.
Do you have anything mixed?
I don't know.
Where was she at? You rolled up.
Backseat. Yeah, we're not sitting at this light. She's moving around quite a bit in the car, but I don't think it was them trying to, like, fight her or anything.
I didn't get heated when my keys got pulled out and all that. That's probably where the like fighting call came from.
Were any threats of violence made tonight?
No.
She's
I did.
drunk. I think what both of you guys just probably need to do is start calling for rides for each of you.
No, that's fine. I agree. Like, I had 2 beers and a shot within 8 p.m. to now.
Yeah, but you're slurring your speech. So.
I am because of, like, the heat. Once I get to the blue light and somebody turns mad at me, then not listening to the same place. I am sorry about that.
Okay.
I mean, like, my Corrado or ticket, what the f***, I really don't care.
I'm not trying to give you a ticket. I'm trying to tell you that you need to call somebody to come get you.
Yeah. Wait, also, doesn't recommend this vehicle. We're just a Honda.
How long ago did you get the car?
Like, probably 40 days, like, on the point. I'm waiting till...
How many days?
Probably 40 days to the point. Like, I'm waiting till Monday.
40? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not sure. Like, how many days I've had the car to the point.
You're just slurring your speech so much I can't understand.
I'm telling you.
How many days?
Around 40?
Okay, that's better. Here, go get your phone. Okay, call somebody to come get you in your car.
What's not gonna happen?
Huh? What's up?
I don't know that anybody's gonna come get me.
Okay, well, you're definitely not getting back in the driver's seat of that car. And he's not driving.
Oh, for sure.
Well, you're for sure not driving either.
I agree with that, honestly. Like, I'm not mad at you guys. I promise.
Well, okay. Alright, so you need to have somebody come get you. Have somebody come get your car. I'm going to tell him he needs to have somebody else come get him. And you guys just need to stay separated, because clearly when you guys have both been drinking, you guys push face. It's not a good place for you two, right? Partner, can you call somebody to come get you?
I'll be alright.
No, I'm telling you. Call somebody to come get you for shit.
I appreciate you.
Call him right now.
Yeah.
Right now. I'm telling you, like, neither of you guys are leaving here without a ride. Dial up buddy, dial up mom, dial up dad, dial up brother, sister. Somebody.
That's true.
My key is...
I'm not worried about it. You already told me that several times, right?
Yeah, no. You didn't think...
I think now's the time to be.
I'm not trying to get smart ass.
Oh, you're right. Buddy, you're not dialing anybody, and that's her right there.
Well, I mean, what do you want at this point? Anybody. So which one would you like? Would you like me to go ahead and deal for somebody that's not there?
I want you to
My mother or dad? I don't. I mean, I'll go ahead and have somebody stay. Just for you.
Yeah, I really don't like how anybody calls, so...
Got to figure out somebody, because it's better going to jail, right?
Like, how long?
No.
Then you'll get arrested.
I don't have a mom. I don't have a f***ing hide. I don't have we're offended?
Do you have friends?
I heard you say friends, dumbass. No, I don't fucking have anybody. I don't fucking have family. I don't have fucking friends. What do you want from me?
I want you to call
Exactly. No, I'll go ahead and get home for you, so I have friends that can go ahead and set me home asleep, so I get sleep.
What are you talking about?
What's about to happen is about something you don't want to see.
What's that?
Just go. Just go.
What's about to happen?